everyone, this is FantasyEsque and welcome back to the Sims 4 Vampire Amazon Royal Saga with the Salazar Coven. We are picking up with an interesting set of characters in the same space. But before we get into what is going on here, we have to look back at the mini-movie at the beginning of this episode to figure out, perhaps, how we got here. So, we started off on a scene with our precious little Princess Eve Salazar, who is now aged up into a toddler. She looks so cute, guys, and I'm not gonna lie, I think right now she is my favorite princess, mainly because she's different from the other two that we have. She's super cute though, with her dark skin, her ebony skin. We've got her silver hair and periwinkle eyes, but more than anything to me, it's because she's different from the other two princesses already, and that's why I like her. Not to mention, she's got a very interesting lineage because she's half visitant, so half invader. And that means she might not have the warmest reception in the family. So in that scene, we had Eden and Princess Eve in the children's quarters, and the Queen was talking to little Eve, saying that she's so happy that Eve was born, and Eve, probably doesn't understand how happy her birth has made her mother. But then she went on to say that it seems as though your sisters have some apprehension towards you. And then she said, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for you to find your place in the court, right? The other two princesses had it a lot easier because they were accepted and celebrated by pretty much everyone. Whereas now, when Eve is born, we already have two princesses who have been accepted into the court and settled, and they have their own expectations and their own way of thinking. So obviously Eve's arrival is going to be met with a little bit of resistance, I think. Maybe if one of the soldiers had been the father, it would have been a different story. Maybe if Bryce and Jackie had been the father, it would have been a different story, because then all the princesses would have belonged from, like, the same paternal family. But nope, that's not what has happened. So, yeah. The Queen was saying that things are going to be difficult for Eve growing up, maybe. Kind of like how it was for Eden. Like, she had a harder time finding her place in court than Guinevere did. And it's the first time the Queen's gonna mentioned it. So before this point, I wasn't entirely sure if she was aware of the situation in her youth, but apparently, at least in hindsight, she seems to be a little bit aware of that. So she said that when she was young, she only had two supporters in the court. One was Queen Aphrodite, and another was Lady Meredith, and both are now dead, which I found so sad. And this was actually something that came to my mind because one of you lovelies, actually, I think it was Miss Kizoni, in the previous episode, you made a comment about how after, Eden's given birth to a third daughter, you can't help but think how so many from the current and previous generation thought Guinevere would be the better candidate to be queen, but the goddess keeps blessing Eden with daughters and everyone else with sons. And that kind of put in my mind, well, yeah, if you think about it, nobody was on Eden's side, right? Everyone was on Guinevere's side. So Eden was kind of talking to her own daughter and saying, even though I was heiress, I didn't have a whole lot of support, and it might be that you don't have a whole lot of support either. And that scene just felt so sad to me. It just felt so sad because I suddenly realized as well, like, oh my goodness, the only two people who ever supported Eden are dead. Meredith was the last one, and she's died. So before that point, I completely forgot that Meredith was one of Eden's two supporters, right? I've been so lost in everything that's been happening in the current generation. I didn't give a thought to the previous generation. So there was that. And then we had a different scene between Princess Juno and Guinevere's son, her younger twin, Griffin. So Juno and Griffin, they are not that close. Juno's actually closer to Sage. Well, she's, spent more time talking to Sage growing up. But they were playing darts with each other. And she was saying, my dear cousin, Griffin, we haven't spoken much over the years, but, just by virtue of you being Guinevere's son, I was interested in your opinion of the new princess, like of my new sister, Eve. And then Griffin piped up and he was like, the half-visitant princess? Cultural growth is good, no? So in his mind, it's like, well, it's a good thing, isn't it? That we're introducing, somewhat of a new culture in and strengthening by diversifying the Salazar line. That was Griffin's perspective. And, but I do feel like he was being maybe a little bit cautious with his words. Or actually, cautious wouldn't be the right word. Because I don't think he was being careful at all. But I think he was carefully trying to articulate what he actually thought. And not Guinevere. Well, we know that Guinevere has certain expectations of him. So Juno, she kind of found what he said interesting, and then she said, that's right. You're the tolerant twin. Sage is the escapist, right? And then she said, I wonder what your mother, or I wonder what, Guinevere would think about this, her champion sons. That one champion son is very pro all this invader stuff, right? Pro visitant. And then the other son, from what she knows of him, doesn't even want to take part in the champion bloodline. So Juno had the kind of, I think, funny tone when she was talking to Griffin. And then she told Griffin, be careful, people are watching, right? Or careful what you say, people are watching. So it's kind of interesting, but I feel like Juno's done this with Kyra and she's done this with Griffin as well. She seems to have opinions of her own, and she really does try to get opinions out of other people and, get an insight into what they really think. But instead of using it against them, she's very quick to tell them, that's a dangerous opinion to have, you better not share it with anyone. So I feel like that's kind of intriguing on her part. So she's using his smarts, obviously, and sometimes it makes me feel almost like, is she being manipulative? But then she doesn't use it against anyone. She gets their true thoughts out, and then she kind of tells them to be on their guard because they shouldn't really be expressing those kind of thoughts. So that's kind of interesting. I feel like it helps her arm herself, but she's not necessarily wanting to harm anyone else. So there is that. And then we jumped finally to a scene between Serana and her son, her eldest son, Xander. So Serana was so happy to see her son, and then Xander, he said, I had to come see you. Am I to have a new brother? And Serana said, no, it will be a sister this time. The queen demands it. And then Xander asked her, can you have a daughter on demand? And Serana said, everything is possible, my son, but nothing is easy. All we can do is persist and hope. So now Serana is persisting and hoping, guys. Yeah. Okay, how is she doing that? Well, she has decided to send a secret invitation to Prince Voldemort Karamazov to the Meredith Museum. She has also invited with herself the newest father of her child, Edmund Alcar, the one who is besotted with her because she drank a potion that has made him enchanted. So there is that going on. And in the previous episode, when the queen had, was it the previous one or the one before? I think the one before the previous episode. When the queen gave birth to Princess Eve, Serana was the one who gave Voldemort the news that it is a daughter. And she was getting quite friendly with him. And I think she's invited him here on those grounds that she has news of, how Princess Eve is growing up because she recently came to the castle. And no doubt Voldemort, being eager that there is someone of his blood that will be eligible for the throne or have access to the throne, he is very interested in hearing about the way Eve is growing up and how Eve is settling into the, Salazar lifestyle. So he would be interested in that, and that's why he's agreed to this and come along. And Serana, she's here heavily pregnant in her 3rd trimester with her newest lover for something that is not entirely what Voldemort thinks. So Serana, guys, has decided that devil magic is very, very it's wild. It's very wild. It's unpredictable, right? But it has power. And especially because the queen has demanded that she have a daughter, Serana is unwilling to give up on the one power she thinks is going to help her finally get that girl. But Serana feels like she has to change tactics a little bit. She doesn't trust Hades because even though Hades shared this power with her, he compelled her the first time round. And so she feels as though if she asks for his help, he's going to compel her again and she's going to fall under that spell, and then he's going to do, his own kind of thing, what he wants to do. And she really doesn't want to be a pawn to anyone. She wants to have control over her own actions. But those actions are very dangerous. Previously, this happened under compulsion. Right now, she's doing it of her own free will. But essentially, she had this alluring potion that she used when courting Edmund. And now Edmund is completely loyal to her and going to listen to her beyond reason. He's not even going to question anything she says. So she called him over here so they could corner Princess Voldemort when he was the least suspecting, because obviously his prestige has kind of improved right now with the birth of Princess Eve. That's a huge kind of deal between the two races. At least his little party that's living in the House of Lords, the lost invaders, them and the current population within the Salazar Empire, it's kind of like a peace treaty almost. Their daughter is a peace treaty, so he obviously feels very safe right now. And Serana is taking advantage of that and doing what she feels like has to be done. So she's planning on killing Voldemort, guys. Why? Because like I said, she feels as though she needs to do things a little bit differently. She still wants to make a sacrifice, but because devil magic is unpredictable, last time she sacrificed a female, it didn't work. And something in Serana's head ticked over and she thought, maybe I need to sacrifice a male, but not just any male. I want to sacrifice someone from the royal bloodline. So she has kind of set her sights on Voldemort to be that sacrifice. And Edmund is going to help her rein him in. Now, Edmund over here, even if he wasn't entirely, under Serana's control and in love with her, he wouldn't have a problem with this because he is evil, mean, and hot-headed. Now, the only problem is, normally, with his senses in the right order, he probably wouldn't have wanted to be Serana's underling and listen to Serana because he would have seen Serana as a weakling. But because, through means of enchantment, he is completely loyal to her, he is doing this delightedly. So Serana here, to ensure that she has that girl, is going to risk using devil magic once more. And over here, when no one is watching, right, in the privacy of Meredith Museum, and I find it so, it's just intriguing. It's intriguing that she killed Meredith, and then she chooses to kill her next victim, willingly this time, in the Meredith Museum, a place that was named in honor of Meredith, or it was established in honor of Meredith. So, okay, let's go ahead and do it, guys. She is going to use a deadly spell on him over here. And she's gonna go for it, guys. She is going to go for it. So Here we go. Here we go. She is going to, yep, kill Voldemort right over here. She's gonna strike him. Now, Serana did not know that Prince Darrell was over here in the Meredith Museum, but it seems as though he has come running in and he is now just happened upon the scene. Obviously, he didn't see Serana striking. He's freaking out. He didn't see Serana striking Voldemort, but he's a prince, so he would kind of know the different people that are connected to the court, so he would know Voldemort's identity. It would be part of his education, of course, especially because Prince Darrell is going to grow up and, you know, join the army. His father, I'm pretty sure, is an army member. So all of these things, it would kind of... I mean, his father actually has died, hasn't he? Was it Jackie? I think Jackie is his father. So he would kind of know. And Jackie and Bryce, they were actually the soldiers who were kidnapped by the Visitants during the war, and they had to be in negotiation to have them released. So Darrell definitely knows Voldemort's identity, and now he's seeing Serana's over here, and that might not be the most, you know, weird thing, but then also he's noticing that Edmund is here. And Edmund and Serana shouldn't really be having a connection because they've kind of done what has had to be done. So it's kind of odd because, I mean, he's too young to figure out all of those details, I feel. That, you know, he's been used for a breeding, so they shouldn't be together. But the thing is, he's thinking to himself, he knows that this guy is probably one of Serana's partners, but also Serana's pregnant right now, so why is she with him? And also, if this was like the Magical Research Society meeting, then where are the other members of the Magical Research Society? He can only see one guy, and Serana, and now Voldemort. So anyways, let's see how this pans out. Look, now Serana's, she's crying, she's freaking out, she's faking it, essentially. And so is Edmund. They're all faking it over here. And then a bunch of the citizens, they're coming through. Now the thing is, using that devil magic that Serana learned from Hades, she did enchant this place as she came in, so like these people who are non-vampires, they're going to forget about this whole incident. But the thing is, oh, here comes Xander. The thing is, Darrell is a vampire. So he's going to remember this. He's definitely going to remember this. And Darrell over here, I mean Xander's freaking out as well. But Xander's a non-vampire. So Xander will probably have his memory wiped because he would fall under that. But I wonder if he would be immune to it as well because he's a spellcaster. Like, he's not part of the normal citizenry. But I feel like Xander's memories will be wiped. And probably the memory of Edmund will be wiped as well. So he won't remember any of this. Now, obviously, because Serana cast the spell, she is going to remember this. And then Darrell's going to remember it because he's a vampire. So, another death, guys. Someone else falls to Serana. I swear, the Coven Rose line at this point, it's just corrupted, guys. It is just corrupted. I don't know how there's like any saving left in them. Like, there's nothing worth saving left in the Coven Rose line. I don't know at what point, but they have become corrupted, and I think a huge part of that is fear. They've become corrupted and controlled by their fear of the vampires. Which is so sad. So sad. But okay, we've got Voldemort's urn right over here. And how are they going to have this returned to the House of Lords? I don't know. But Serana over here, I mean, since she's here, obviously, she is going to talk to Daryl, and she's going to assure Daryl that the urn will be sent. She's going to assure Daryl, right? She's going to assure him that the urn will be sent to the House of Lords so that they can have the ashes, like the remains of their prince, with them. Because I think Daryl would be quite upset. So she's going to assure him, don't worry, we'll get the urn sent back. Because now this is a bit of a loose end. She didn't expect Daryl to be here. But there we go. That's what has happened. And now we are going to head back to the castle once she has sent the urn back. Or maybe. We'll see. Because what explanation? How is she going to send the urn back, and what explanation is she going to give to the House of Lords about how Voldemort died? Like, there is no excuse. What is the excuse? So, she'll get that arranged, and then we'll catch up with her when probably she's going into labor and see if it was worth it. Is she going to get a girl? The moment of truth is here, guys. It is 6 p.m. on Saturday. The house party is underway. All of the Sims that needed to be here for Serana's labor are present in the castle in some way. So obviously Xander is down here in the chamber with his mother because he's very invested in the arrival of hopefully a new sister. And then, the queen, obviously, because she also wants to see a baby girl continuing the Coven Rose line, and really she's losing patience with Serana. So she'll probably go ahead and get this birth going. Juno's also down here. She's kind of interested in these affairs. Kyra's walking back and forth. Is Edmund in the area somewhere? It is his child that is being born. Actually, that is a good point. Where is Edmund? Edmund is, okay, in the kitchen, being angry. Of course he is. Of course he is. Now, something to note, guys. I have noticed that Silkfrost, who now is an elder, but we can't tell because, look at him. He's all cold and sick. But I've noticed that Silkfrost is getting sick more often. And it makes me wonder if that, in some way, is an omen that things with Serana are not going well because Silkfrost is magically connected to Serana. So I wonder if this is some sort of omen that something bad is afoot. So there is that to note. So let's go ahead, see whether or not killing Voldemort was worth it, and if she is going to have a baby girl. Let us see, guys. We're gonna have this baby. I've got my names list ready. Not gonna waste any more time. Let's see, Serana. What is it? You've literally gone down the path of no return. This time, you killed someone really important, someone connected to the royal family, and also... what is it? What is it? This seems like a difficult birth. What is it? It's a girl! It's a girl! Finally! Oh my goodness. But yeah, and you've done it voluntarily. So it's literally a path of no return. But it seems as though her tactic worked and it was worth it, at least in Serana's eyes, because she finally got the baby girl that she's been wanting for so long. So this, guys, is going to be Miss Delphi Covenrose. So Miss Delphi Covenrose, and this name was suggested to me by Friday, so thank you so much for that. You gave a ton of really good name suggestions. So this is Miss Delphi Covenrose. Welcome to the family, little one. Welcome to the family. Okay, there we go. So we have a dark-skinned baby girl, just like Xander. Just like Xander, and she's going to have red eyes and black hair. So there we go, red eyes and black hair. I was not expecting her to have a girl, guys, in all honesty. I was kind of just already resigned to the idea that it was going to be yet another boy, but apparently not. It was worth it. So Serana looks extremely happy with herself. She's going to cuddle this baby. She looks extremely happy with herself. The queen is really pleased with the turn of events. So I suppose that's good. Oh, there we go. I'm so happy for you, Serana. I'm happy at least you got the girl in the end, but I have mixed feelings about this child's birth because it was at the cost of Voldemort's life. And I know Voldemort was an invader, but I liked him a lot. I really liked Voldemort, and is Eve's father, so I'm kind of upset at Serana. Serana's like, I liked her when she came into the castle, but now she's kind of like at the bottom of the ladder for me. Because of all the stuff she's been doing. Okay, well, there's that. There's that. Cataleya's coming in to check. Cataleya's coming in to see. Kyra, I don't think, is very interested in what is happening over there. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do is bring over Princess Eve because we haven't had a look at her in-game. Princess Eve, and also Lord Leon recently aged up into a child, so I want to bring him in as well so we can take a look at him. So I will see you guys once I've got them lined up somewhere in the castle. I have assembled in the children's quarters the son of Catherine, Lord Leon, and our adorable half-visitant Princess Eve Salazar. So let's take a good look at them. I love it when our elfish vampiric children are ready for display after aging up and having their makeovers. Everyone just looks so cute. But over here on the left, we have Leon. He's got the characteristic golden hair, but he's a little bit different because he's got purple eyes. He's got purple eyes and he has dusky skin, which pretty much all the other boys, I'm pretty sure, in the vampiric bloodlines, they have really light skin. So he's a nice change. And then we have, look at this, we saw in the mini movie, but we have our slightly angry looking but adorable Princess Eve, who has no clue that her father has died and what a big deal that is. But look at her with the silver hair and periwinkle eyes and beautiful dark skin. I love how for the longest time I really wanted a princess with dusky skin, dusky skin, dusky skin. And then we got a princess with like ebony skin, which is like perfection. It is the most beautiful version of what I could have wanted. So I'm really, really excited for this as well. But okay, I will let the kitties... Oh, she's sad. Look at her. She's sad. Maybe a part of her does know that her father has died. We have no... Oh my goodness, we have no way of knowing. And look, we have Chance over here. We don't get to see these kids too often. But this is the second born of Serana over here. Second born. And then her third born is somewhere in the premises. But let's get our queenie to come here and let's give her a cuddle. Or at least comfort her. Let's comfort Eve. I want Catherine to come and hug her son as well. So, or, you know, express love. Come on, let's come here. Let's express some love to our beloved son. Because this is the first time I see him as a child. I don't know if he's been here and around. Probably not that much because he's from a younger generation. Well, he's from a, not generation, but a younger age group. And so we've been waiting for Eve to grow up so that she can form her own group of companions. And these boys will be part of that group. Oh, where'd she go? Where'd she go? Oh, look at that. That's adorable. Oh, that's so cute. I'm so happy Catherine at least got to have a child of her own. And then Eden. Do we want to, can we snuggle her? Let's snuggle her. I think she needs a hug. I think Princess Eve needs a hug. Come on, Queenie, let's grab the princess. Here we go. Oh, look at how sad she is. She looks so cute with a circlet, though. Okay, we gave her some affection. Let's comfort her. Let's give her a little bit of comfort. I think she might be like sensing that something's gone wrong with her father. And the funny thing is, nobody, I think, in the castle is that aware of what happened. I feel like this morning that she's going through is the same thing as Eve. They both sense something is wrong, but they're not entirely sure what's happened. I don't think news has reached them that the visitant prince is dead. I don't think they know this. I mean, he went through an entire war and he didn't die, so obviously I don't think they would have it in their mind that he would die that easily or that quickly. But if we look at family, oh, look at this. This is interesting. If we look at Eden, right, and we look at her relationships with everyone, she's got the closest relationship with Kyra, and then with Eve, and then with Juno. So she's got the least relationship with Juno, and I feel like that is really reflective of what we've been seeing, that Juno's birth was almost taken for granted and forgotten a little bit. But okay, now that all of that has been dealt with, and the little physician, right, the physician's heir, baby spellcaster, little Delphi, has been moved to the Glimmerbrook Embassy as soon as possible. So we will not be seeing... Oh, look at this. That was cute. That was cute. But we will not be seeing very much of her in the castle, I think. But if I remember... Hold on a second. If I can quickly go through off the top of my head to see who would be in Eve's companions. So obviously one slot would be for Eve, and then I'm pretty sure it would be Chance, then Leon. No. I think it would be Daryl. Chance, Leon, George, the half-demon spellcaster, and then Delphi. I think, yeah. So she's got like 2 more slots left. Okay, that's interesting. So she'll have a lot of spellcasters. She'll have like 3 spellcasters in her group of companions. So initially, in the beginning, we thought Kyra would be very influenced by the spellcasters because she was very fascinated with them as a youth. But I think Eve is going to be the one who's got access to the most spellcasters, interestingly enough. So we'll have to see if that influences the way her thoughts are, because, you know, she's going to grow up with a lot of spellcaster companions. But that aside, now that our, thankfully, physician has flippin' had herself a daughter, we can focus in on who is going to breed next. So the queen has decided that she would like the dragon bloodline to try extending themselves a little bit more. So she is going to give Lady Elaine the news that she is going to be breeding next. So let's go ahead. We're going to check in on Lady Elaine and see how she's doing, because she's up next. So Elaine is Catherine's twin, so that might have a play in why the queen is now wanting to give the dragon bloodline a chance to go and breed. Plus, Elaine is like the new scholar. She's moved in, you know, to the castle, or her role has traditionally been primarily at the castle or in court. So she feels as though that is important and essential. And this is gonna be a good chance for Elaine. I mean, she's been waiting for something like this for a while. She hasn't been desperate for it, but if the conditions are good, this could be really helpful to her and her plans in the long term. Like actually herself being in court, having a daughter in court, being like the only noble lady with a daughter in court as well, because no other noble lady has had that. So the queen's letting her know. I feel like Elaine is very much pleased, especially at this point, because she was pinning a lot of her hopes on Juno growing up, since Juno was the daughter of, her closest minion, or most loyal minion. But now suddenly, after turning into a teen, Juno's decided she doesn't want to be controlled, and she doesn't want people to tell her what to do, even if it is Elaine. So she probably feels as though having a daughter would be better in this scenario, because her daughter would listen to her without question. And she could kind of dictate what happens in her daughter's life without question. So that's kind of where Elaine's mindset is. And then there was like an interesting whim I wanted to talk about from Juno that can't eventuate, but I thought it would be an interesting delve into her mindset or the way her mind works. So Juno had this interesting whim of asking Lord Sage to go steady, right? But Lord Sage, he's the oldest twin to Guinevere, and he is one of her cousins. So in their society, this is looked down upon, or this is not the kind of relationship you can pursue, right? A romantic relationship with your own cousin. So it's a no-go for the vampires. So it's not something she would be able to do, but that is in Juno's mind. Like, out of all of the males that she knows, or all the people that she knows, she would want to form. I mean, even females, they're game, but again, she has sisters and nothing else. But out of all the males, then she kind of felt that Sage was the most beneficial to her, because I feel like Juno approaches these things from a very logical point of view, because he is from two champion bloodlines, he is from the same paternal bloodline as her and the same maternal bloodline as her. So she probably felt as though that, on top of being the legendary champion's eldest son, would be the best kind of help and connection to her. Plus, she's closest to Sage out of all the males, aside from, her brother, which is a definite no-go. But let's take a look. Where is Sage? Where is Sage? Oh, Sage is not even here. He's not even here. Okay. But yeah, that's something that can't ever happen, but it's definitely on her mind. So who knows if that is like something of an alliance that might happen or might not, on a friendly term, but she's thinking about Sage in more than a friendly way. And I feel like it's something that's born from logic, not necessarily blind feelings. She feels as though Sage, one, she's comfortable with him, but also he's the only like non-brother relative. Oh my goodness, did Xander just age up? That was unexpected. Xander aged up. He needs a makeover. My goodness. So interesting. That just turned my head. I was like, wait, what? That can't be a thing, right, Juno? It can't. Your society doesn't encourage those kind of relationships. But I'm wondering, like, now that she's got it in her mind that Sage, if it was possible, like, if they weren't related, she would pick Sage. She would pick Sage to be her partner because she's comfortable with him and he's useful. And I wonder now that now that the thought is in her mind, if something will happen or feelings will grow from that, even though it shouldn't. I mean, Juno's smarter than that to get caught up in something that she shouldn't be or that wouldn't work out. But who knows? Sometimes you do stuff beyond reason. But she has to be careful, because Kyra was going well until she got sidetracked by that secret romance with Channing. And if she's not careful, the same thing might happen with her and Sage. But okay, guys, with that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.